All right, friends, well, welcome to another fine edition of 151. I'm Adam, and of course, I'm joined by Justin.
As always.
Yes, as always. It's been a while since we did this. Life, time, work. Sometimes you just can't get back into it.
It happens, man.
So we're finally back. We get to do some shows and hopefully, have a good couple week run here where we can sit down, talk to everybody, and have some fun. And if you want to follow us, you can do so on Twitter at 151theshow. Facebook is essentially the same thing.
Yes.
So,
in real life is creepy.
Yes, and in real life is creepy. This week we're going to start with our old pal Deadpool.
The wonderful Wade Wilson.
Now, it's been a couple weeks since this movie came out. It's made a crap ton of money.
Yes.
I think that's easy to say.
Yes.
How much has it made so far?
I don't know. Let's turn to the Google box. I know it did like 155 opening weekend out of the gate. Basically, blew everything. All the other X-Men movies. Biggest R-rated release ever. Biggest February release ever. Blew everything out of the water. Which I think is a good thing and a bad thing.
Okay, well, we'll get to that here in a second. Money-wise, it has made box office, according to Wikipedia, $609.8 million.
Is that worldwide or?
That's what I believe
that's
it's
gotta be worldwide,
yeah.
but that's huge. That's over $500 million.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I mean, we're closing in on Avengers money.
I mean, think about a movie that they didn't want to make, and it took releasing test footage mysteriously to get it out there.
And they made it on a $58 million budget, which, I mean, that's 15 years ago, that's the $20 million budget. That was the hard line. What are we going to make it for? Oh, we'll throw $20 million at it. See what happens.
So it came out a couple weeks ago. We got to go see it. We actually went together with our wives, our lovely wives,
on Valentine's Day. Very special.
In Kansas City. I'd never been to an Alamo Draft House before, and I hear they're kind of like flicks, I guess. But I loved it. That was a great movie. Great. That was a great movie experience. I'd never been to a place like that before. So just wanted to say, hey, Alamo Brew House or Clubhouse or Movie House or
Draft
whatever.
House.
Draft House. There it is. You guys do a bang up job. Good job. So I think it's safe to say that we both liked it.
I think so.
I think it's safe to say it was a very fun movie, a very action-packed movie. And in kind of thinking about it over the last, couple weeks, and when we decided that we were going to, do this again, we talked it last time about DC movies going dark and too dark and not being fun. Deadpool was like the perfect example, I think, of going dark but still being fun.
I don't even know that you necessarily call that dark. I mean, it's mature. It's gritty.
Yes.
And not gritty in a Batman gritty Gotham City.
Yeah.
Just gritty in a language subject. Material jokes, sort of. Realistic. Honestly, in some ways, that was one of the most realistic superhero movies I've ever seen because, those guys talk like we talk.
Yeah.
Those guys make the jokes. There's not a
superhero landing. Superhero landing. Look out! She's gonna do a superhero landing.
Exactly. I mean, it really was it was fun. I mean, it was not dark and gritty.
No, and I think that was the important thing with it was you wanted a movie that was going to be mature.
Yep.
You wanted a movie that, I know they cuss a little bit in like Avengers and stuff like that, but it's still kids.
It is.
A kid can watch that movie.
It's PG-13. I mean, it is.
It was just fun to be able to go to a movie like that and have it be for adults.
The PG-13 rating gets you one use of the F-bomb in a non-descriptive way. Wolverine saying, "Go F yourself."
Yeah.
I mean, and that's as close to that territory as we've come before, and that that scene, quite frankly, was a highlight of that entire movie. You know, it was Days of Future Past.
No, it was X-Men
First Class.
First Class.
Yeah,
First Class.
when they're trying to recruit him, that was great. I mean, there is a place for that if it's done correctly, and with the right characters. I don't want to see, an R-rated Superman.
You know what's funny about that? You bring that up, and I was going to wait till a little bit later to talk about this. Did you see the news about Batman vs. Superman?
Mm-mm.
They apparently will release it in theaters as a PG-13 movie. The DVD version, according to the article I saw, is going to be an R-rated version.
If they start chasing R's just because Deadpool did well,
that was the basis of the article.
No, Deadpool did not do well because it was an R movie. Deadpool had to be an R movie to be a good Deadpool movie. Deadpool did well because it was Deadpool, not because it was R.
Yeah. It was just so well done, though.
It really was.
And it's kind of the side note of this. I know we're supposed to be focusing on Deadpool right now, but the whole idea of DC just doing whatever it'll take to try and get somebody to watch this movie, this Batman, Superman, Justice League, whatever they're calling it, it's sad. At this point, it's just sad reading the articles about this stupid thing.
Yeah, and what they're doing and what they're trying to throw at it to get people's attention.
A buddy of mine earlier today, actually, he sent me an article, and it was basically the leaked plot points of Batman vs. Superman. And I read it, I'm like, man, this thing's just a pile of garbage. There is no saving this thing at this point. There really isn't.
We'll see. I mean, we've got, since the last time we did this, we've had half of the big movies that was on my radar come out.
Star Wars,
Deadpool. All we've got left is Batman v Superman, which I still maintain, like our earlier show, should be a gripping legal drama. I'd watch that. And Captain America, Civil War.
Which that one's starting to look interesting.
That one's starting. I'm getting cautiously excited. As much as I don't care for the Civil War storyline, it's starting to get me cautiously excited.
So going back to the whole Deadpool thing, one of the reasons that I really like this movie, and I was wondering how they were going to do it, because Marvel has had they have an equation for how to make these movies, like origin story.
Yep.
This is how I got my powers. This is why I'm fighting and stuff. And Deadpool was that, but they mixed up the formula a little bit, the equation.
It was not A to B linear progression.
No, and once I kind of saw that, I think that made it more enjoyable.
Yeah, it was a random. It was almost a random, throw stuff at you. It was kind of the way that Wade Wilson thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, in the comics, historically, his little fourth wall breaks, his little
he's
stop
insane.
the action, and take an aside and make an explanation. That's the way they presented the movie. And what would have been, if they'd have done that from point A to point B, it would have been a decent movie. It would have not been nearly what it was.
No. And boy, I don't know, man. I really liked it. I started trying to think of, like origin story plus first movie plus, how did I get my powers, all this. And I got to tell you, man, it's right up there with Spider-Man, for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, the first one. I still think that's one of the best first movies that Marvel has done. And not even, I guess, Sony maybe, but just a comic book character in general.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that
Iron Man, first Spider-Man and first Iron Man would be very, I think, neck and neck.
Yeah.
And I would say that for a first movie, as far as quality, I would say they're still probably neck and neck. As far as what's the most fun, Deadpool takes it by a mile, because it's not the perfect movie. There's a lot of things you can point out. It is the perfect Deadpool movie.
Yeah, I will give you that.
I mean, the opening credits alone put that thing in a rank of all of its own.
The ending credits are still probably my favorite part of the whole movie.
Yes.
Of the entire, not just like, the hell was that?
That was the Google machine. Forgot to put it on silent. Hello, work email.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, no, it was fun. I walked out of it. I didn't have any qualms with it at all.
No, you had no complaints, which anybody who knows us knows that we have a long, long history of there are only certain movies that I will go see with this man after the Iron Man 3 debacle.
Iron Man 3 and Harry Potter 7.
Yes.
Excuse me
because
for a second.
of dude, beer? Really?
Yeah, that Diet Pepsi is really hard stuff, man. I was drinking Moscow Mules last night.
Oh, nice.
Those things are good.
No, after Iron Man 3, Harry Potter 7, and the original Star Trek reboot, I almost won't go see a movie with this man anymore.
You know what? The Star Trek one, though, that one is watchable at least.
It is.
They didn't, take a really classic character and completely turn it on his ass, and it was bad.
But he had nothing bad to say about Deadpool, which I was very impressed.
You want to know how good Deadpool is? My dad, he's not really into these movies, or he'll go see movies and stuff, but Deadpool was the first one he ever actually texted me afterwards to tell me that he really liked it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and it was good enough that both of our wives, I'm speaking directly to camera now. Gentlemen, your wives will like this movie.
It's hard to believe.
Our wives did.
Yeah, no.
And not just because Ryan Reynolds go full frontal. I don't think that's the only reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of nudity in that movie.
There's a lot of nudity.
It's good nudity.
There's some adult content. There's some adult content, yeah.
And you know what? Ryan Reynolds, for being a burned up, horrifying creature of a man at that point, pretty impressive still.
Well, it's not like he's in a building on fire. It's not like it's cold in there.
No. But shriveled maybe after being in a tube for a couple days.
Maybe he came out with a thing for the autoerotic asphyxiation after that.
Yes, he's gonna. The way to kill Wade Wilson now is the dude from Kung Fu.
Yep, David Carradine.
Yeah, you choke yourself to death.
Yep.
To try and get off.
Yep.
Oh, that's sad and horrible and just brutal.
And just weird enough to be Wade.
All right, so Deadpool, I think it was great.
I thought it was fantastic.
Now, at the beginning of this, you were talking about, what was it you were saying you had kind of an issue with, or a direction it was going that you weren't crazy about, or the blank stare at me is not a good thing.
At the beginning of this?
Yeah. You were saying that there was something about it that kind of scared you, or I'd rewind the tape, but
we can't.
We're taping, yeah.
No, I don't. I guess I don't remember what you're talking about. The only issue that
or maybe that's what you called it, an issue or something. I don't know.
No, I really didn't have an issue with the Welcome to Us getting lost, folks. No, I have no issue with the movie whatsoever. I had some issue with some parenting and people dropping off their kids at a comic book movie that was completely inappropriate.
Oh, really?
Couple of people that I know that went to saw it and said they were down to 6-year-olds in the theater. And
well, at least they're learning it from Deadpool, not on the streets.
Yeah, but I've got an almost 4-year-old, and I don't really want to explain pegging to her in another 2 years. So, I think that's a bad parenting call.
Okay.
So to parents, do not take your kids to this movie.
And don't be the parent that tries to change the movie and be like, oh, we're going to boycott movies until it's, made a PG-13 or whatever. Don't do that.
No, don't be that.
Deadpool is not a movie that's supposed to be PG-13.
Shoot first, shoot second too. That's Deadpool.
Exactly.
In a nutshell.
I guess one of the, getting kind of, off like, oh, I just really like the movie and stuff. And I think it's a kind of an interesting setup for where X-Men and X-Factor can go.
As in the rating and what they'll allow, or just bringing in the characters?
Well, you had what's his name?
Colossus.
There, I knew it was a C one.
Yep.
You had Colossus. You had the Teenage
Warhead, Teenage Negasonic Warhead,
who they completely changed from the comic book and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean,
and we're kind of on that edge of, X-Men Apocalypse is going to be coming out. You had the, Xavier School in the movie. You had the Blackbird. You had, references to it being within that universe.
Yes.
Or at least close to that universe. And you've heard, over the last couple of years, whether or not what they're gonna do with X-Men for movie wise, X Factor, possibly some of these other
X-Force.
X-Force, yeah. What was I saying?
X Factor.
X Factor,
which I think is a British singing show or something like that.
Isn't there an X Factor too? X-Force, X Factor, whatever. Anyways, I think it's kind of an interesting way. I mean, are we going to see Fox, who made this movie? Are they going to be like, wow, we can make a movie in an adult fashion, like Deadpool, and kind of maybe take some of these other, characters and stuff and storylines?
Well, and we've had this debate before. I don't think that it has to be you don't have to have the Holy Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, to get butts in the seat. You can take Guardians of the Galaxy that nobody's ever heard of, make it well. You could take Deadpool, who has a sort of an underground following, or has had a fairly vigorous one, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Market it correctly, and huge props to the Deadpool marketing team. Oh my God. What they did with this movie was phenomenal.
I've got my boss at my real job. He sent out, these articles about the marketing itself, and he's like, read these. We need to do this kind of stuff. It's purple marketing.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm going at, are they going to see that you can take some of these comic book characters and stories, like a Deadpool or something, and you could put them into like where we don't necessarily have to make it a kids movie?
Yes.
That's kind of what my question is.
Yes.
Are we going to see, so like when they do Force.
Yes.
Getting on me today.
That you can bring in Cable, and you can have a grown-up Cable, and it doesn't have to be PG-13. It doesn't have to be marketed to 13-year-olds. It could be marketed to 35-year-olds that grew up on this stuff.
What's that noise?
I think leaves blowing outside.
Okay. I just heard something weird. But no, that's kind of my thing. Now, are we going to see everybody, because like we talked about a little bit ago, Batman, Superman, they're just trying to save whatever. Yeah. Oh, well, we're going to make this R-rated.
Doesn't need to be. It's Batman and Superman.
I mean, are we going to see them, is the next influx of these movies going to be R-rated, gritty, not dark, gritty like the Batman kind of movies, but like dark, gritty like Deadpool?
No, because Batman is not going to celebrate lining up three guys in a row and putting a bullet through his head. He is not going to work out his problems by slipping into his jerk-off Crocs and going and touching himself.
The baby hand was so great.
That's uniquely Deadpool. That's the irreverence. That's the adult. That is the line about an avocado having sex with an older, uglier avocado. I mean, that is in the theme. So I think you can have that. As long as it's not forced.
I guess. Trying to think of a way to, because I get what you're saying.
Am I talking you in a circle here?
No, not really. It's just, it's kind of like you take what I've been talking with some of my friends about, like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I know Donald Trump on this kind of show. Great. This should be great. No, but you look at, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the Deadpool thing, is you look at Donald Trump, and he has led a campaign that, take out the racism, the kind of craziness, and just saying whatever he wants to say, regardless of what it does.
Yeah.
Whether it's, about building fences or shooting people on Fifth Avenue or whatever. You take out all of that. You take out that really crazy stuff. And he's run a campaign that people have responded to, good or bad.
Even with that stuff in, people have responded good and bad. I mean,
you look at the Deadpool movie, they did really outside the box promotions for it. They made it's a comic book movie that's made for adults, and it brought in all these people, much like, Donald Trump, like him or love him or hate him, he's brought in a whole lot of people to be on his side.
Yeah.
So does that, I guess what the question is are people going to see this and be like, if we tweet a couple things, we should go this direction.
Oh, and make Batman break the fourth wall?
Or not even necessarily, whatever it may be. Where people are going to copy that style, I guess.
Well, and I guess part of what I thought about this movie and doing it this way and with the fourth wall breaks, with all the rest of it, it made it accessible. There is so much expectation of needing backstory.
Yeah.
With Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, bringing all that in. And I mean, not to keep crapping on Batman v Superman.
Oh, it deserves it.
It's an easy punching bag. I think the kind of irreverence that they brought into this made it accessible for people who weren't necessarily comic book people, the same way that the original Iron Man did for the Marvel guys. Because hey, you've got Robert Downey Jr. essentially playing Robert Downey Jr. and that looks entertaining. Even if you take all the fantastical stuff away.
Okay, how about this? What about, like language, gore, violence?
I think it's fine.
That's I guess my question is since it worked so well here, is everyone going to follow it?
I think you'll see a surge in it, and I think it's going to backfire on them. Yeah. I think you're going to have a lot of people say that, if we just add swearing and T.J. Miller and nudity to X-Men, it'll be better. The only maybe Squirrel Girl.
She's kind of hot.
Howard the Duck, could get away with this kind of crassness. It's not.
Nobody wants to see another Howard the Duck movie.
It's not.
Nobody.
If it was done right.
How do you do a Howard the Duck movie right?
You just make it just incredibly crass and almost a parody of like a Pixar movie.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, like a parody version with Howard the Duck. Sort of like a computer animated Duck Dodgers of the 24th and a half century.
Squirrel Girl, would you?
Yeah. I'd get me some tail.
Sorry, I just pulled that up on the old Google machine and 10 most. That's not what I wanted pictures. Damn you, Google! You have forsaken me again. Squirrel Girl.
Hot chick with a tail, essentially.
Yeah, we're getting into furries territory here.
Oh Lord,
I don't know if we want to do that. So
I guess we probably should go back because maybe for our rabid followers numbering in the tens now?
Yeah.
Maybe even close to the dozens.
And by the way, if you'd like to follow us, you can do so on Twitter at 151theshow. Kind of the same thing on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook. So for our 10 people that I'm pretty sure 5 of them are the ones that Twitter assigns. So.
Well, for you out there, anybody who doesn't know, Wade Wilson.
Yeah.
We should tell who Wade Wilson is to start this out.
Okay.
Wade Wilson was a Special Forces mercenary, Canadian Special Forces. He was in the same Weapon X project that turned out Wolverine.
Yeah.
He got cancer. In the movie, it's heart, prostate, liver, lungs, basically, and his entire body. Yeah. In the comics, I believe it was just brain cancer.
Really?
Yep. So in the comics and in the movie, it's a little different. In the movie, it's kind of a secret program that they never ever talk about that he volunteered for. In the comics, which I'm going to give that explanation because it's easier to make sense of, it is, the Special Forces. It's the Weapon X program. And he was gifted with Wolverine's healing ability. So, I mean, they're basically, blood brothers when it comes to that power. The thing is, the process, the cancer, and Wade himself, it broke him. It drove him insane.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about his insanity is, you can look at it two ways. Either he knows that he's a comic book character, or if you treat it as a real-life situation, he's so insane that he believes he's a comic book character. Either way, fourth wall breaks. You know, for a while in the comics, he had a thought box and another thought box, and those two would argue.
Well, hell, he killed the Marvel universe in one.
Well, yeah, because he came to the realization that they were all comic book characters, depressed him so badly that he said it doesn't matter, we're all not real, and he killed everybody, good and bad.
And then he climbed out of the comic book and killed the writers.
Yeah, I mean, he's married to death.
Got a thing for B. Arthur.
Yep.
Likes chimichangas.
Yep. And he's just a total frickin' whack job.
Yeah.
And he's a lot of fun.
So, sequel is going to happen at some point.
Yep.
They want to have cable.
Yep.
Where does this go from here?
I
mean, is there a storyline that you think they do? Do they come up with something original? Do they... Because Ryan Reynolds, I mean, he's perfect for the part, plus he's a Deadpool fan.
Yeah.
That's his character.
He's part of the creative process here. I mean, literally, the writers, it was him, Tim Miller, and the two writers. I mean, we're the four guys that all worked together on this. I mean, Ryan helped them write. They will tell you they were working for Ryan Reynolds while they were writing this thing,
Yeah.
I mean, he's been an active part of it. He's not going to say, no, I don't want to play this guy anytime soon.
By the way, I love that he, the suit is coming with me.
Yeah.
I'm taking this.
He jumps in it and does crap for YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done how many of those little things since in the marketing and since even the movies come out. I mean, he's still inhabiting this character.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean,
he's taking over more of this character than Robert Downey Jr. did with Tony Stark.
Yeah. He's becoming Wade Wilson.
Yeah.
So without the terrible, terrible scarring.
Yes. That'd be a bitch.
So
and
let's face it, even in his scarred up, screwed up makeup, that dude's still handsome.
Yeah, he kept in the comic book, it's horrible.
Oh yeah.
It's god awful. And the movie was like, okay,
he looks like a burn victim.
Yeah,
but,
you look bad, but to kill off 107 people all at once,
my wife still would. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I'd think about it.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, do you think they go strictly like one of the comic stories? Do they adapt something? Do they come up with something brand new?
I think
What's the best move for the next Deadpool?
I would honestly, if they did a series of 20-minute shorts with a bookended by footage of Ryan Reynolds and the guys with a spinning wheel and a dart saying Deadpool and Cable go to the beach, and we get a 20-minute
You'd watch
vignette. Deadpool and Cable have to babysit for an afternoon.
Oh, jeez.
I would watch the crap out of that movie. I would.
I guess I don't know. I like the character. Am I a diehard Deadpool fan? No. I mean, I don't have the sweatshirt to go with it.
Well, you don't like the sweatshirt?
No, I like this. I love the sweatshirt.
Because I'm prepared, man.
Oh, gee.
I'm double layered. Tacos.
You are all about this, aren't you?
I got my jersey with me too. So.
Oh wow! No, I'm really curious. I mean, what do you do next? What villain do you bring up? What situation?
I say you go original. Just write an original story. Pull something out somewhere. Pull a bad guy out. Pull some, B tier, C tier X-Men out. Throw them in there.
Well, that's the other question. How much is Fox going to try and do some of these other X-Men characters and stuff in these movies?
I think the box office receipts just made this a lot more equitable.
You think?
And a lot more. They bought a lot of cooperation.
Okay, let me ask you this. This is kind of off the topic, though. How I want to ask it right. At Fox themselves, their higher ups and stuff, how many of them do you think feel like idiots because they didn't greenlight this movie sooner?
I think that you've probably got enough change in personnel from when this very first started out to now it actually getting released, that the majority of it is everybody's patting each other on the back and fondly,
yeah,
jerking themselves off.
There's some dude there though that was like, this will never work. Deadpool, come on, you're stupid. This is never going. There's that dude there.
There is, I'm sure, and he's
just getting beat down every day.
And he'll probably be sweeping floors, by the end of the week.
Probably. That could happen. I don't know, man. I just it just seems to me like this movie, like everything came together.
It did.
If it did take 4 years to get made, or the really bad X-Men movie with him in it.
But here's, think about this. Think about what they did. They shot it on a helicarrier.
Yeah.
And plausibly denied that it was a helicarrier, so they couldn't get sued.
Yeah.
They had Hydra Bob, and plausibly denied that it was Hydra Bob enough so they didn't get sued. They went to Xavier's school and said, "Oh, it's like the studio could only afford 2 X-Men. This house is really empty." They had fun with it. They made it work. They made it work. It wouldn't have worked had they tried for that authenticity, but they made it work. I think being cheap on the budget helped this movie.
No, I think the budget, the time that took to get it made, just everything that kind of went into it made this movie perfect. But I start to wonder if and not really a bad thing, but you see how well Guardians of the Galaxy did.
Yep.
Which, not many people know the Guardians of the Galaxy, plot line and all that.
No.
Deadpool, cult character. I wonder how many more of these are we going to get a Squirrel Girl movie, is what I'm saying.
Well, I think you're going to see, you're already seeing Black Panther, you're already seeing Captain Marvel, you're already seeing some of these flashes. I honestly was starting to worry that we'd hit peak superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in some ways that we have, it's going to take something like Deadpool that's
so incredibly different.
Very, very different to get that out. What other movie is going to, ask Stewart or McAvoy?
Yeah. No, seriously.
How else is that going to work?
Hey, my wife just got here. And my boy.
Hi, honey.
Is he sleeping? Tell Daddy yelled at. Anyway, so Deadpool, pretty awesome movie. We both enjoyed it. And I don't know. Was there anything else to say about it?
Unless we want to examine in depth our favorite moments.
All right, real quick. Favorite moment of the movie?
Stewart or McAvoy.
Really?
I think that was one of them. Yeah, that had to be up there.
As stupid as it's going to sound, the ending credits. The cartoon Deadpool at the end with
the unicorn.
With the unicorn, with the saxophone, with all of that, I thought it was great.
That was. There are so many, but yeah, Stewart or McAvoy. Probably the whole bar scene.
Yeah.
With him and T.J. Miller.
Yeah.
And I know that's going to be a lot of people's.
Yeah.
Punching Colossus in the nuts.
Yeah, that was good.
And Baby Hand.
Baby Hand, that was good too. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of 151. You can follow us on Twitter at 151 The Show, Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube, all of that. So we hope to see you next time, and that'll do it for us. See ya. Tacos. If you like this video as much as Justin did, please make sure to follow us on these other fine media platforms.
What are you doing here? The show's over. Go home. Seriously, leave.